SoCal, and today's show we're going to talk about motorcycle moving motorcycles.
Moving, towing, transport, safety.
Yes, indeed.
Very important.
With Vincent Spina,
Director of Awesome at Motorcycle Mover LA.
Vincent, getting your motorcycle moved under any situation is always a sensitive deal.
Mm-hmm. Well, people are really passionately connected with their bikes. So when you handle one of their motorcycles, it's like handling their child. Right. And it doesn't matter if it's some of the bikes like you sell, exotics, whether it's a Ducati or a Triumph or a big Victory touring bike, or it can be the rattiest piece of crap you've ever seen. But I guarantee you that person
it's got a piece of your heart.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We were just talking about that on the sales floor. You get people coming in with their used bikes and they want to trade them in or sell them to us, and they want astronomical money for them. Yeah. You're going, but wait, this bike is only worth this much money.
$12.
Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes that's the case. And you can't tell them that, and they won't listen because that's their baby.
I know that because I own all the bikes I bought for the last 20 years. I still have, and I know they're not worth anything to sell.
Okay.
So I just cover them up and keep them.
And you know what? It gets to a point where it's cheaper to keep her.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really get any money, or you can't get enough to what it's worth to you. And if you possibly can, and in your situation you have been able to.
Bucks, yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the bikes are not, I bought them used. I have a 1996 900 Super Sport Ducati I bought new in 96.
Wow.
And I love that era of Ducati. Why would I sell it?
Sure.
To get, it's worth, $1,800 or $2,200. It's better just to have the bike and keep it as an heirloom.
Especially such a classic, and it's a Ducati. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And I'm a Ducati fanatic, so I've been riding them for quite a while. 1988, I bought my first one. Yeah, Paso, and that's the only thing I've owned ever since.
Really?
Yeah.
Definitely Ducatista.
Yeah, I'm a pretty one-dimensional guy. I've been to the factory 3 times.
Have you been to World Ducati Week?
I haven't.
Oh, I've been 3 or 4 times.
Have you?
Oh my God, it's what an event. But you know what? We're getting off topic,
right?
Which we do a lot on this show.
That's okay.
Most times, if somebody wants their bike moved, they call their buddy with a pickup truck.
Right.
And then they're trying to either use 2x4s or 4x6 or something and a ramp, and they're trying to figure out how to get the bike in the truck. What a nightmare. And then most times people don't know how to tie them down properly, and there's virtually damage most of the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of great YouTube videos.
I know. I've seen a few of those.
Motorcycle Mover LA, if you go to our homepage, it says, we believe motorcycle riders have the right to expect more, have a right to a difference. And what we mean by that is, motorcycling has evolved since you started riding. You said you were
64.
I'm 56.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the dark ages, which is to me on any Sunday, is like everything. There's some bikes I have from that era. I have an old TM125 Suzuki I used to race. I still own that bike. And I'm very emotionally attached to it, like we were saying before. But truly, it's a piece of crap. You know what I mean? But today, the technology of bikes is amazing. And everything about bikes has become very specialized, except one area kind of lagged behind. Mm-hmm. So if a person has a issue, a mechanical, and they're concerned about operating the bike safely, they make a call. What happens is somebody comes in a piece of equipment designed to move a car. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Your typical tow truck, in other words.
Right. And some tow truck guys, not to belittle them, because they work very, very hard, and they have a very dangerous job. Some guys will carry soft ties. Some guys even carry a portable wheel chock.
Right.
But that's the 1% of guys
very
who probably
few
ride.
Do that.
Yeah, very few. So what we're trying to do is educate people, to let them know there is a difference. We have specialty equipment, and we have people that understand how to handle motorcycles. Sport bikes, for instance, a lot of people you see strapped to the clip-ons. It's not a really great idea. They're not a hitch point.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you have to be able to, a Panigale, for instance, is a very delicate bike. I think I could total one by tying it down wrong. And
nowadays, I wouldn't doubt that.
And loading and unloading is the place where motorcycles are most commonly damaged.
Sure.
Not actually in the transit.
Right.
But so what we're trying to do is educate people that there is a difference, and that there is an option, there is a choice now. And the last thing is that the reason that one of the things that's very important to us is the fact that being a motorcycle rider for 46 years, having broken down quite a few times over that time, we have a lot different set of needs than a car driver. I pulled over for a car the other day. I was in a motorcycle mover truck. Got his flashers on. I was on the 405, and I thought, I can't really help him,
right,
but maybe I can find out. Who knows what's going on? And the guy was in there. He rolled down his window, and he goes, no, I'm just chilling until the AAA gets here to change my tire. Well, you can chill in a car and turn on the AC and listen to satellite radio. But in a motorcycle, you have to get...
You're looking for shade.
It's dangerous.
Yes.
It's dangerous. A lot more women are riding.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more, which is great. But, you think about somebody broken down on the 110 downtown at 11:30 at night, they've got to get off that road. So, one of our things is speed to the customer.
Right.
So, we any people we meet, we say, call direct on our cell phone. You can get one of our drivers or you can get me.
Well, there's a very, very important statement that you made about the fact that you're enthusiasts, you're motorcycle enthusiasts. In the motorcycle industry, because we are all passionate motorcyclists when we ride, one of the most important things is going to places that understand, or when you go to a vendor, you need something for your motorcycle, whether it is towing or whether you want to buy a motorcycle. We here at Southern California Motorcycles pride ourselves on the fact that we all ride.
Right.
And so, in fact, I say that that's one of the things that made us successful.
Sure.
Is the fact that we're an enthusiast.
Well, you were a racer.
Lots, yeah, and just an avid, passionate motorcyclist all my life, myself as well as the rest of my staff. And I just touched on that. What you said makes perfect sense. From who would you rather tow your bike? Somebody who doesn't know anything about a bike, doesn't know anything about, doesn't have the right equipment and all that. Damage is just is going to be a given at that point. Or somebody who specializes. Now, how easy is it for somebody to get to you, get a hold of you, and what is the areas?
Well, right now we're covering through the San Fernando Valley, San Gabriel Valley, Los Angeles County, and Orange County with our own vehicles.
That's a big area.
It is. We do a lot of driving.
Oh.
And we also are part of a network of other qualified professionals. There's a system we use on our trucks, perhaps you've seen it, called the Amerideck, and it's a motorcycle-specific lift system. It's a commercial piece. We're also the distributor. So we've sold a number of these to other guys. Our goal is to be able to, I'm not necessarily going to own 1,000 trucks, but to have these guys set up with these lift systems, and we can dispatch calls out to them as well.
Kind of like Uber?
Kind of like Uber,
okay,
but just better.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
I'm riding down the 405 freeway in Long Beach.
Right.
Right? And I have a flat tire.
Sure.
Right. Pull over, pop out the cell phone. What do you feel that is the response time? Let's say
we're going to be there
2 in the afternoon.
If we can't get there, our truck within 30 minutes, we're going to be sending the number out to someone who can.
Really? So
absolutely.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously we want to expand the business.
Sure.
We're an entrepreneur, but you have to be realistic. And there are guys set up, and we make sure they're have commercial insurance, et cetera, and they're motorcycle people. Nobody would do this that is not a motorcycle person. Really, you have to love bikes. It's a hard job. We have really great guys. Louis Bernardi is our guy up in this area who comes to your business quite frequently. Down on the west side of a guy, Mark Sloan, and he's a professional tour guide as well. He's a Harley Davidson 500,000 mile plus club, et cetera, taught with the Motorcycle Safety Foundation.
One of the things about what you do is we're not in the transportation industry, you and I.
Right? No, not at all.
We're in the entertainment business.
Completely.
And when you are in the entertainment business, we're dealing with people's feelings, with their passion, with their emotions. Of course, there's the transportation end of it, but no, we deal so much more on that aspect of it. And when you talk about people's emotions, somebody breaks down on the freeway. One, they're worried about their baby.
And they won't leave the bike.
Right, their emotions are all involved. Especially, God forbid, you talk about an accident.
Right. They won't leave the bike. I always tell this story to illustrate your point. Well, cars are functional. Bikes are emotional. And mostly, I mean, you have that 1% of the car drivers that can really afford the exotics. But for a bike rider, I mean, when they're putting on that leather jacket and the helmet and the glove, they're transforming to another person.
Mm-hmm.
A guy called me and said, hey, we're broke down, had a crash in Latigo Canyon. Not real bad, but I broke my wrist. I said, well, get to an emergency room. We're on our way. Gave him an ETA. Drove up there. There's the bike. They put it up in the kickstand. And there's a car. There's a guy sitting in the car. One of his friends came to get him. I think it was his father, actually. He had ice on his wrist. He waited. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, well, I've got the bike covered. Get to the emergency room. He followed me home and watched me unload the motorcycle.
Wow.
I'm like, dude, you already wrecked it, but
yeah, I know.
But he followed me home, watched me unload it before he went to a hospital. So
I don't
see anybody in a car doing that.
My girlfriend crashed at Laguna Seca on a track day, and she high-sided.
Right.
Slow turn. It was the last turn 11, right? She high-sided. She was on her Ducati 748R.
I used to own one.
And they rolled the ambulance because she had rolled, but she was back and they couldn't really tell she was laying on her bike. She was crying.
Oh.
She wasn't hurt, but they rolled the ambulance because that was her baby.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She's crying about the motorcycle.
Right.
That's the emotions we're talking about.
No, it is. It's really, I mean, I love my bikes, I park, when I park in front of government night, I always kiss them. It's totally ridiculous, but I have a Street Fighter, 848. I rode it up here today. Great, amazing bike. I mean, every time I ride it, I'm like laughing in my helmet. It's such an amazing motorcycle. But I used to ride track days. I haven't done it in quite a few years.
Right.
But I've been getting the itch to. I talked to a couple guys that work with Keith Code, et cetera. Sure. And I said, well, I'm going to.
They're all over.
Yeah. So they said, well, just take the Street Fighter out. And I was like, I should, but I'm so afraid of, so we'll see. I'll go with it, most likely, but I'll be riding it really slow. So.
Well, they're made, especially Ducatis.
Yeah,
they're made to go fast easily, so it's hard to have fun with them going slow on a
part of the
racetrack.
reason I want to take it to the track is because, it's such a highly evolved bike that I want to be able to understand more of its limits, so I feel more comfortable on the road.
Well, talking about track days and people that know me and my audience that knows how I feel about track days, they're the best thing that's happened to us.
Yeah, they are
I
amazing.
mean, it is the safest place that you can experience the performance capabilities of your bike and yourself.
Yeah.
God forbid you should fall over. You got expert medical attention within 60 seconds, a minute and a half. Everyone's going the same way, expert training. It's just, I think track days are the best thing to happen to motorcyclists.
I agree. I mean, any high-performance sport bike, I feel like people should automatically, it should be mandatory practically that they do one. I mean, there's almost no bike these days that isn't technically high performance. People talk to me about,
Good point.
I get asked a lot, what should I buy, this or that, and I'm like, dude, there is no bad motorcycle, really. They're almost all amazing compared to, my first street bike was a 1973 Harley Super Glide. And that was considered a performance bike. If your definition of performance is 700 pounds and 60 horsepower, that's and no brakes, So, but these days, I mean, the bike I'm riding is not even considered a quote unquote fast bike, and it's a fast bike. It really is.
Your Street Fighter?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a fast bike. Yeah, we've been. I feel really blessed. I mean, I grew up on a farm in Delaware. And that's where I started to ride. I have a brother that's about 10 years older than me. He was riding. You always want to do what your brother's doing. You know what I mean? So I picked up on the mini bike. 71 on any Sunday came out. And it was like bikes exploded everywhere. I don't know where you grew up, if you grew up here in California. Okay, so, where I lived was, far from, I used to buy the magazines and everything was in California. Yeah. And when I saw that movie, I was like, I knew three things. Malcolm Smith's God, California's heaven, and you get there on a motorcycle, and I was going to go. And, it's decades later.
Well, you know what?
And I finally...
That and Easy Riders. Easy Rider, the movie. That's a good place for us to take a little break. I'm Tom Hicks, and this is Ridin SoCal. We'll be back with you in a couple minutes.
4 a.m. and I got that feeling. Clock's ticking, but my heart's not beating. Eyes open and I'm staring at the ceiling.
Well, hello everyone. We're back. I'm Tom Hicks. This is Ridin SoCal, and I'm with Vincent Spina, and we're talking about
Motorcycle towing.
there we go.
And everything else motorcycles.
And everything else motorcycles, as much as we can get in a half hour, right?
Sure.
Vincent, now we've talked about somebody has a problem and they need your services, maybe a half hour, right? What are they to expect when you get there?
Okay, so what the process would be, let's say starting from the beginning, they call our number 844-MOTO-111. And that goes to our
844 Moto 111. That seems like, okay, all right. That's
And so it goes into the main office. Then we disperse the call to whatever is the most logical geographic location.
right.
So what happens is a truck's going to arrive that's equipped with the Amerideck lift system. Typically, what we're going to do is take them either to a dealer, a shop, whatever's closest. We can take them home if they want.
Right.
You know, sometimes we pick up riders on a Saturday.
Right.
And the shop's going to be, it's either going to be too late to get there, or they're closed on a Sunday. A lot of shops are closed on Mondays.
We are closed on Sundays and Mondays.
Right. So we will hold the bike usually at no charge for them. And then dispatch again on the first available opportunity Tuesday morning and take the bike. What they can expect is someone who understands a rider's needs, first of all. People that handle motorcycles, all kinds of motorcycles, from delicate exotics, we handle vintage bikes, you know, antique restorations, all the way up to enormous Harley Davidsons that if you ever try to move a full dress Harley with a flat tire, it's a job.
Oh, yeah.
It's a job. We have a lot of we have every tool, toy, bang, bell, and whistle in the truck to move a bike safely. You know, obviously all the bikes are outfitted with the best wheel chocks, straps, soft ties, etc. You know, just the basics. And then we have specialized tools for, like, for instance, to go under a wheel that has a flat tire and to be able to jack it up just like an inch so that we can actually roll a bike so it doesn't have a flat.
Because that is a big deal.
It is.
You know, it's a big deal when, you know, even on your Street Fighter, you get a flat and try to push that thing. That's hard to do.
Yeah, when you get a big fat
you get
radio,
a 1,000-pound motorcycle.
it's impossible.
Right.
So, you know, typically what they're going to get is they're going to get someone that understands motorcycles, handles motorcycles, and guys that really care about getting the rider off the road. I mean, we had an incident. We had a call. It was a couple from Arizona, and they broke down on the 5 freeway in the carpool lane at 5:30 on a Friday afternoon. And I have pictures of it. They're literally up against the concrete wall. And our driver, Mark Sloan, was 8 miles away. He got out there, and it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. And these people were you know, as you would imagine, they were pretty shook up. He got him in the truck. CHP came. They actually shut down the whole 5 while we loaded up the truck. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So, yeah, we get a lot of respect for them. We deliver all the LAPD's new bikes. So they had 220 bikes outfitted this year.
No kidding.
220 BMWs. We delivered them all. So we're handling all kinds of stuff out there.
Wow, what a deal, you know. How to start? Talk to us about that.
It's simply, I mean, I've always had a dream, as I was talking about earlier. I was a kid. Someday I'm going to go to California and be in the motorcycle industry. And, you know, here it is 40 years later. But I still did it. I got involved. I moved here in April. It was 4 years. So we've only been in business, actually, July 31st was 3 years. So we've been working really hard. I just saw a space where I could get into, and like I said, I felt that one area of motorcycling kind of lagged behind. People are so used to being able to call, quote unquote, a AAA.
Sure.
But they don't realize that what they're doing
is just an office
a dispatch.
That's all. That sends it out to a tow truck company.
And we got really concerned. I mean, I've had to do it myself. You're on a bike. You know, today's quite hot. You saw how much gear I had on.
Sure.
I look like Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai or something. But I believe in gear. You know what I mean? So, and it's hot. And if I had to make that call and somebody goes, "Can you hold?" Bang, you hear that muzak, it's all over. You're stuck on the road, and that's not what we want for people. You know, we have our drivers call, communicate, or the office does, during the whole process. So they, someone stays in touch, so they know that someone is on the way. A lot of people get left on that road. A lot of car towers don't really want to handle the bikes if they don't have
Well, right, for a good reason. They damage the bikes, and because they don't know how to handle bikes.
Right.
And then there's all kinds of repercussions from the damaged bike.
And, I've talked to car towers. There was one guy I interviewed with. We looked at handling his bikes. He has 2 locations, 60 trucks. He covers 8,000 calls a month. The 150 bikes he's going to get, he doesn't really care about.
Right.
But the problem is he can't get a AAA contract unless he agrees to cover the bikes. So it's kind of like in retail where they make a company pay for space
Sure.
to put their product. So there's a,
So when he gets a AAA call for a motorcycle, does he just turn it to you guys?
No.
Oh.
No. They won't allow him to do that.
Wow.
So, and we don't work with AAA, and people are like, why not? I'm like, it's a car company. That would be like me saying I got a warranty for my bike at the Buick dealership. It's, we're really trying to establish ourselves just like the rest of motorcycling is very specialized. This bike moving has to be very specialized too. Motorcycle riders have a completely different need. However, we do offer a year package like AAA. So it's it's $95. It covers you up to $300 per tow, unlimited occurrences throughout the year. So it covers mechanical, flat tires.
So if you have an old bike that breaks down a lot.
Well, we go back to, I think it's 85.
Okay.
And there are some people that fall into that category. So for me personally, I like to tell people that get covered in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing worse than not having a number to call at night or anytime.
Right.
If that bike breaks down.
I've been a AAA member
Sure.
all my life.
Me too.
You know what I mean? So, and you're right. It is nice having that security.
Yeah, and sometimes, we've had people that are far away, and they will get a flatbed, and they'll take the bike part of the way, and then that's the end of their service, and then we pick it up, and you can string them together. There's no law that says you can't. I have like everything under the sun: AMA, AAA, my own coverage, etc.
Sure.
So, but we just try to motivate people to get covered in some way.
Right.
Because, and also the bill gets quite, the bill can choke you up a little bit too.
So, let's talk about a bill. Let's say it's 15 miles.
Typically, how we bill is this. We bill for in-route mileage.
Okay.
We bill for load and unload. And we bill for loaded mileage. So load and unload is $75.
Okay.
Okay, that covers the labor for the driver to put it on, driver to take it off.
Sounds good.
Yeah, typically it takes about at least a half an hour on each end.
Sure.
Or longer if it's me, because I end up just talking to the people about motorcycles.
No, really?
We just lose on every call if I go. Yeah, I'm the worst. So, and the in-route mileage is $3 a mile. Loaded mileage is $4 a mile.
So it's 15, so...
most of our calls are under $200.
Wow.
Most of our calls are under
Boy,
$200.
that is a deal.
We got to crank out a lot of calls, but we do.
Yeah, that's actually a deal.
But we prefer to have them covered.
Of course.
Because if we can do it for quote-unquote nothing, then we're like the biggest hero in the world.
Right.
We're there to make their day better. If you're on your bike, you're going for that ride, your bike breaks down, it sucks.
Well, the thing is, no matter what, you're dealing with the negativity.
Yeah, well,
When you get to a scene, regardless of whether it's a tip over or a flat tire or something's wrong with the motor, any of those things, that's a big negative.
Not making people
happy. And they've been
happy.
standing outside in dangerous situations. No. Yeah, that's a big job you have, is to bring a little joy back into the world.
that is our job. We're going to try to make that part at least the best possible experience they could have. I'm really, really proud of the work the guys do. They work really hard. We've never had a damaged bike. We've never had a scratch.
Wow.
We have very few complaints. We were just contacted by the company that holds the national contract for Ducati, and we are the #1 service provider for Ducati's roadside service in America out of 550 service providers. The most service calls, the highest percentage of
That's
service
just amazing.
calls. It's so
That's
great.
something to be very, very proud of.
I am, really. I
know
really,
from a business owner, when you get acknowledgement and you get kudos from not only your peers, but you get them from your customers and everyone, it just feels so good, because it's just an acknowledgement that, look, all my hard work's meaning something.
Yeah, it is. It's really the only way we can measure it you know, and especially when you're a motorcycle fanatic like I am, you to get that support from the people,
Right.
you know, is really important, because I'm as emotionally involved with their bike as they are, practically.
Right.
You know, so, and their experience with riding. And, you know, we get to do other stuff too. We have a lot of great clients who don't live in California all the time. So they have multiple residences.
Sure.
When they're going
And
away.
they need their bike to take into their winter home.
Well,
or whatever.
we're doing that. I was telling the guys we're taking 4 bikes to Jackson Hole, Wyoming next week. Not something that's typically within our wheelhouse. However, these people want us.
You've got
to
the
do it.
equipment. They want you.
Yeah, they want us to do it. They know we'll handle it very
Right.
personally. We also have clients that, for instance, when they go away, we take their bikes into our storage facility, and we keep the bikes covered, keep them on a tender, etc. Take care of the bikes. Then their assistants usually call, and the bikes are in their garage, lined up, keys in the ignition, ready to go. And, you know, we explain to the assistants or security, whoever we work with, that it's very important, because what we're not just protecting the motorcycle, we're protecting the rider. Because the guy comes home, he hasn't seen his bike in 6 months. He's like, I want to go for a ride. You know, maybe the battery's half dead, maybe the tires are flat.
Tires are flat,
They're
yeah.
going to do whatever they got to do to get the bike out on the highway, and that's a little sketchy. You know what I mean?
So do you guys check out the bike for them?
Well, what we do is typically, it'll come in if, let's say it was a bike you sold to people.
Right.
We might give you the VIN number, and then you can run it through and say, hey, the 5,000-mile checkup's coming up.
Right.
So we might take the bike in, have it gone through full inspection. Yeah, they get the bike back, it's ready to turn the key and ride
outstanding.
safely.
Right.
You know, well, I'm a big safety advocate.
Sure.
You know, so I like people to really, you know, you mentioned with track days, that makes your street riding so much safer, because you
absolutely.
understand your limitations, what the bike will do. You know, I've been on the street for a long time. You have as well. You know that people have ridden on the road a long time. We look at traffic differently than people that just drive cars.
Oh, absolutely, Vincent. So Vincent, how does somebody get a hold of you now? Say the phone number again.
844-MOTO-111.
Okay. How about a website?
MotorcycleMoverLA.com, Instagram. We're not on Twitter, but Instagram and our website, MotorcycleMoverLA.com. You can send
Would
in a
have all
request
those.
for service.
Oh, through the web.
Yeah, and we also, Instagram at MotorcycleMoverLA.com, Facebook /MotorcycleMoverLA.com.
Well, you're out there.
I like
that's
to play
important.
with that stuff. It's a lot of fun for me.
Well, good. And for all of our viewers, it really is important that you get somebody that knows what they're doing to pick up your motorcycle, whether you're just moving it to a different location, or whether, God forbid, you have a problem and you need to call somebody to pick you up and your motorcycle.
Right, and your motorcycle.
Get somebody that knows what they're doing, and obviously you guys seem to know what you're
It's an
doing.
important job to us, too.
Right.
You know, we're here, you know, I'm really proud to be serving the motorcycle community in Southern California, you know.
Well, we're nearing the end of the program, so I'm going to take care of some Southern California motorcycle
Excellent.
business. We have a Support Our Heroes program, and that is where we give a discount to people, firemen, military, police, obviously. We really appreciate what all these wonderful people do. And so if you happen to be one of those groups, come into Southern California Motorcycle, and you'll find that you'll find how we do appreciate you. And also now we're doing a big event at Cook's Corner. Now Cook's Corner is out in Trabuco Canyon, and it's easy enough to look up. It's really a hot motorcycle spot here in Southern California. We're going to have the Victory truck, the Victory Factory demo truck, out at Cook's Corner. We're going to have it for 2 days. That's September 24th and 25th, and you'd be able to demo any one of the new Victory models. And so don't forget those dates, the 24th, 25th of September. It's the Victory demo truck, and sponsored by Southern California Victory, Southern California Motorcycles. And with that said, I'm Tom Hicks. This is Ridin SoCal. Thank you, Vincent, for being here.
Thank you.
We'll be back with you next week.